Welcome back to ZNGP today. Marc Márquez took his 11th sprint win of 2025 in Brno with another masterclass in management and precision, but not without a scare. Unbeknownst to him, he was under investigation for a potential tire pressure violation that could have cost him the win. As it turns out, the pressure was fine, the system was wrong, and Márquez simply did what Márquez does: read the race, adapt fast, and win anyway. Pecco Bagnaia's Czech GP sprint unraveled due to a cruel twist of electronics. A dashboard warning error tricked the Ducati rider into thinking he was under the legal front tire pressure limit, forcing him to slow down and sacrifice a possible podium. By the time he found out the warning was wrong, it was too late. Jorge Martin is back in MotoGP, and while the reigning world champion wasn't in contention for the podium in Saturday's Brno sprint, the bigger win was simply completing the race. Finishing 11th in his first competitive outing since Qatar, Martin admitted to feeling nervous, overriding the Aprilia, and still far from his peak, but stressed. Results don't matter yet. Marc Márquez's 11th sprint victory of 2025 in Brno nearly vanished in a cloud of controversy when he was placed under investigation for a potential front tire pressure breach. But by the time the podium dust settled, race direction admitted its own system error, and Márquez kept the win. Here's how a minimum pressure glitch turned into a non-story. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Márquez shot into the lead early in the 10-lap sprint, only to voluntarily let Pedro Acosta through mid-race after a dashboard warning signaled his front tire pressure was dropping below the legal threshold. I was convinced because I saw on the dashboard that I was inside the limit. But it could also be the rear pressure, which can also sometimes be tricky. Marc Márquez Statement. The warning prompted a tactical move. Márquez sat behind Acosta just long enough to bring the pressure up, then reclaimed the lead on the final lap. After the race, Márquez was briefly under threat of an 8-second penalty, enough to drop him out of the points, due to an error in race directions monitoring system. He only learned about the investigation after he'd been cleared. When you asked me in park firm, I didn't know I was under investigation. But I was happy with the feeling and the way I managed the situation. In the chaos of the moment, calm and confidence won out. A technical glitch nearly tainted another dominant win, but the data backed him up. Márquez admitted that a lack of dry running on Friday, and the ultra-grippy new Brno asphalt, threw off Ducati's tire behavior expectations, especially on the front end. We are riding in a very strange way. The bike balance changed a lot. They expected it would increase pressure more, but it was not like this. The engineers anticipated a rise in pressure that never came. Without data from dry sessions, they were flying blind, and so was Marc. Still, experience helped him navigate the unknown. While Ducati's engineers misjudged the pressure behavior slightly, Márquez defended their overall approach and praised their intent to maximize performance, not just play it safe. We believe in the team because they are doing a very good job. The easiest thing is to put a lot of pressure, and the rider will complain. But they always try to give us the best performance. For Márquez, it's about partnership and trust. Even a near miss is just fuel for better prep next time out. With the asphalt now more rubbered in and clearer expectations for tire behavior, Márquez expects no fundamental changes to the bike for the main race, only better management. We were super close to the correct pressure. As soon as I took a slipstream from Pedro, I saw I was inside. Sunday's race should be more stable. Márquez has weathered the curveball, absorbed the data, and come out on top. Again. Brno delivered yet another twist in Marc Márquez's 2025 campaign, but the result was the same: victory, clarity, and control. The tire pressure drama? Just noise. The Racecraft? Flawless. With sprint win number 11 sealed, the Ducati rider heads into Sunday's Grand Prix unshaken, confident, and perhaps more dangerous than ever, especially now that the censors, and the world, know what he already did. Bagnaia started the Brno sprint from pole for the first time this season, but by lap 5, he was letting rivals past, convinced his tire pressure was too low and that a penalty was imminent. I tried to let other riders go and this message wasn't going away. I was sure to get a penalty, but I arrived to the box and saw I wasn't under investigation, Pecco Bagnaia said. The warning turned out to be false. Later data showed that from lap 2, Bagnaia's pressure was legal, but the dashboard never updated. It cost him a chance to fight for the win. Bagnaia revealed the issue likely stemmed from pre-race electronic problems with the dashboard. His team tried to reset the system, but something remained off. Already before the start I was having some electronics problems with the dashboard. Normally I wouldn't have had to let others go, but the bike was saying to. With tire pressure warnings now strictly policed in MotoGP, riders are forced to trust their dashboards. When that trust breaks, so does the race. Bagnaia noted that Marquez had a similar warning mid-race but was able to manage it perfectly, allowing Acosta through, raising the pressure, and retaking the lead to win. Marc, I understood, was below the limit. He let Pedro pass, reached the limit, and overtook him again. That's normal. In my case, it wasn't working. Bagnaia's situation exposed how even identical warnings can play out very differently depending on electronics, and a bit of luck. Despite finishing 7th and storming into the garage frustrated, Bagnaia found silver linings in his Saturday performance, chiefly beating Marquez to pole and gaining insight into how his rival rides. It's strange to say, but I'm quite happy. I was able to fight for pole position. I did it. And for the first time I was understanding more things, from following Marc. From braking behavior to rear tire control, Bagnaia is studying Marquez closely. Even if the result didn't reflect it, Saturday gave him valuable intel. Bagnaia believes Sunday could tell a different story, if Ducati can manage the rear grip early and his electronics cooperate. Tomorrow will be different. We will need to control the rear more during the first part of the day, so let's see. Despite a cursed sprint and a rocky season, Bagnaia still believes. And with pole position in hand, Sunday is a golden opportunity for redemption. Pecco Bagnaia may not have added to his sprint tally in Brno, but Saturday showed flickers of a comeback. A pole position, critical riding insights, and a reminder that performance is there, if the bike behaves. With better luck and no more dashboard drama, the reigning champion could still flip the narrative at the Czech GP. After all, the storm may have passed, but the race is far from over. Martin's sprint in Brno marked his first race in over 100 days, following a long injury layoff. While the grid nerves were real, the opening laps proved promising. For sure I was nervous before the start, but I was really focused. The first few laps were great. I was with the pack, learning from Marco. Jorge Martin's statement. Martin followed teammate Marco Bezzecchi closely early in the race, soaking up data and track time. In the end, the result, P11, wasn't the point. It was about getting through clean and gaining feel. Martin said the goal is progression, not results. With just one GP start before this, he's building back his base from scratch, mentally and physically. Now it doesn't matter if we are 5th, 6th, 11th. The important thing is to keep building this confidence lap by lap. It's a patient approach from the defending champ, one focused on long-term readiness rather than short-term glory. He's happy with his performance, even if the scoreboard says otherwise. Martin confessed he's currently overriding the RSGP as he struggles to fully gel with the bike, relying on Bezzecchi's settings that don't suit his riding. I try to gain time in braking a bit too much, then I go wide. We need to do a setup for myself. Marco's setup is not fitting 100% to my style. The lack of testing and mileage is costing him feel and flow, especially under braking. The team is working to find a base setup tailored for Jorge, a process that takes time, but has begun. At one point in the sprint, Martin considered overtaking his teammate, but chose instead to study him, knowing a late race fade was likely. Maybe I was able to overtake Marco, but I said okay, I'll wait here. I'll try to see some lines, because I knew at the end I would go to the back. It's a sign of tactical maturity, picking knowledge over ego. Martin is prioritizing learning over position, even when he briefly had the pace to move forward. Martin was upbeat despite the finish, calling it a really good day to grow. But he's clear, he now needs a bike that works for him, not just someone else's setup. It's just a matter of time. We need to stay calm and believe in our job. His message is clear. There's no panic, no frustration, just a steady road back. The data is coming, the confidence is building, and Brno was a vital first step. Jorge Martin's comeback didn't light up the timesheets, but the Czech sprint delivered something more valuable: laps, learning, and signs that the champion's foundation is forming. Still nursing rust, still adapting to Aprilia, he's not worried about 11th place. He's focused on one thing only: getting back to being Jorge Martin again. On lap 6 of the 10-lap sprint, Marquez received a dashboard warning that his front Michelins had fallen below the mandatory 1.8 bar minimum for at least 60% of the race distance. In response, he let Pedro Acosta pass, warming his tires back into the legal window before retaking the lead on the final tour. In the heat of battle, Marquez's split-second decision was textbook risk management, yet it nearly cost him everything when stewards opened an investigation. Immediately after the checkered flag, Marquez was notified he was under scrutiny. An 8-second penalty loomed, enough to drop him from 1st to 14th and erase his sprint points haul. It was a remarkable turn, from triumphant charge to sitting on the penalty bubble, all before the podium photos were even taken. Shortly after, MotoGP released a statement revealing the culprit. An incorrect minimum pressure threshold was programmed into Race Direction's monitoring system, not the team's dashboards. The warning system that feeds data to stewards had a bug, falsely flagging Marquez and others as non-compliant. The post-race investigation quickly revealed an incorrect minimum pressure setting in the Race Direction warning system. Therefore, no further action was necessary. Official statement excerpt. The glitch lay not with Ducati's setup or Marquez's tactics, but with a behind-the-scenes software oversight. Even under the cloud of investigation, Marquez remained outwardly confident, pointing to his dashboard data which showed he had consistently hit the required pressure zone before the race ended. His faith in the team's telemetry paid off, because the true rulebook data vindicated him. With the sprint win confirmed, Marquez's championship lead swells to 95 points. Pecco Bagnaia, who suffered a similar warning but finished 7th, also escaped penalty. The episode serves as a reminder: margins are razor thin in MotoGP, and even off-track systems can have on-track consequences. Race Direction says it will review and correct its monitoring protocols, ensuring the next time the light comes on, it truly matters. Marc Márquez's Brno sprint could have gone from triumph to turmoil in an instant. Instead, the real story turned out to be down in the software. With victory and 95 championship points secure, the Ducati star rides on unbowed. Meanwhile, MotoGP's tech team has some fine-tuning of its own to do before the next time the sprint lights flash to green. Thanks for watching ZNGP today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!